Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Today, I just wanted to cover the importance of your comments, whether you agree or disagree. They are all important because feedback from you is what helps me to learn and to gather information, and it also helps others. Some of the comments are really entertaining, and I've just picked three or four that I wanted to share with you in particular because I found them quite entertaining. Now, the first one is from somebody called Andy, who said, "Bro, from one Brit to another, you're talking out of your arse. My heat pumps heat my 250 square metre Marseille house, no problem, and my 110 metre square chalet in the Alps." Now, Andy and I went on to exchange a few comments, and we did find common ground, and we're like this now. We won't be going to TikTok bonding meetings or anything of the sort, but just kidding. But something that Andy's comments did highlight to me, that made me reflect on a few other comments of a similar type was this. I have had quite a few people who speak up in support of heat pumps who live in Finland and who live in other countries. And that's possibly where I made a mistake in my opinion about heat pumps, because I don't think that for the majority of UK houses that they are suitable. And that's the very point that I should have made. And it is important because it's not just a case that I don't think they're very good. They do work, but they will not work for the vast majority of British houses because our housing stock is so old and so poorly insulated. In the entire country, there are only 40,000 properties with an EPC of an A, which is absolutely disgraceful. And something else that I picked up on in my research. If you go to, say, Rightmove, search properties within 20-30 miles of your area, and then search must have new homes. Look through the details of many of the new homes and scroll down and look for an EPC certificate or rating. And most of the time, there isn't one. Their argument will be it can't be awarded an EPC rating until the property is completed. But I'm sorry, guys, but you have built thousands of properties that are identical, because God forbid that you should pay your architects to actually make a few different designs for a little bit of individuality. So to save a fraction of the price on the properties, you just replicate the same design and make carbon copies throughout the country. So I won't believe that you don't know what the EPC rating of that property will be. You know what it will be. And at the very least, you could put this property will be a B or a C. But something else that is even more shocking is that even today, when energy performance is at the forefront of people's needs, there is actually no stipulation in law about the energy efficiency of new homes. Yes, they are more energy efficient than older property, and people just assume I'm going to buy a new property, oh, it will be very well insulated. But there's a big difference between a C and a B and an A, and why builders are still building property that is not insulated to the best that it could be, that just beats me. But what I find even more disgraceful is that they actually hide it from people. Why do they not on their listings put that this property will be a C, it will be an A? They don't say anything, and the salesman will say, it's a new home, I'm sure it will be very well insulated. People don't know. It's not the first thing that they think about. Is it an A or is it a B? They just think, is it going to be well insulated? But the burden of responsibility surely should be on the builders to make it clear what the energy performance of these properties that they are charging people so much for will be, and yet that's not the case. So again, going back to where was I totally forgot. Oh, I was talking about Andy, and I was just saying that's the point that Andy made. He referred to properties that I'm sure are very, very well insulated, but put a heat pump in an average property in the UK with an EPC of an E or a D and even a C, and you will really, really struggle. And that's why I go back to the point that I concluded after I'd made a video about it, that if you're going to spend money on anything to do with energy, the first thing you should do is insulate, not change your heating. Let's have a look at the next comment. And this one, you are completely wrong. Had ours for 2 years. Keep the house really warm. It's not noisy and is cheap to run. Hot water is good for bath. Don't know what type of house it is. I'm not really sure. If you do look through the comments, you'll see that the percentage of people who are happy is very, very small. But that being the case, I'd love to hear from you. If you are happy, I'd like to know what type of house you're in, what the EPC rating is, what type of heat pump you have, so that I can inform other people. I'd be very, very grateful. I'm not on a mission to say to people, don't have this or don't have that. I'm merely relaying information that I've picked up from clients and in my own experience. And as always, a lot of what I say is my opinion. And the next one, this was from a plumber. Just watched 2 of your videos today and both were bang on the money. I own a plumbing and heating company and heat pumps are not the future. If they're not, then perhaps we can go back to square one, which is hydrogen mix boilers. Now, I did have a comment about somebody with regards to the boilers, because I did mention replace your boiler with a hydrogen ready boiler, and one of the comments was all boilers are hydrogen ready and hydrogen mix only. That is sort of true. I've called round a few manufacturers to speak to them. Basically, the difference between your existing boiler and one of the new hydrogen ready boilers is that the older boilers can be done, but they'll need a fair bit more work before they are suitable to run on hydrogen mix, let alone hydrogen, 100% hydrogen, which probably wouldn't happen for years, if at all. However, the new boilers, once the hydrogen mix natural gas begins to be piped in the near future, they only need a very, very small modification, literally 15-20 minutes, and they'd be happy to run. And on that note, after I had made my video, the government has announced that they are going to begin pumping out hydrogen mix 15 to 20% with natural gas from next year. And they are replacing steel pipes under the ground with plastic to ensure that the supply can be delivered. And obviously, once there is a 15 to 20% mix with natural gas, if you take into account that we only import around 10% at the most, I understand, then that should plug the gap on what we actually need to import at this time. So contrary to the narrative, I do not believe that gas boilers are going to be banned anytime in the near future. And unless you really, really want to, for whatever reason, I would replace your existing gas boiler with one of the very, very efficient new hydrogen mix ready boilers, because that would probably be your best option. If you're going to be spending so many thousands more to go for an alternative, I would recommend you spend that money on insulation rather than be spending it on something like a heat pump. But obviously the choice is yours. I shall look out for a few more comments. I do like the ones that are a little bit heated and have a little dig at me, because that's what it's all about. As far as I'm concerned, if I've opened a can of worms, if I've created a conversation, if I've got you making arguments and got you thinking and got you talking about things, then I think my job is done. I'm happy with that. And if, in order to do so, you need to launch a verbal attack on yours truly, please feel comfortable to do so. That's why I'm here. That's all for now, and I'll see you in the next video.